Okay, let's start. As I was saying, we are talking about Knowage, which is an open source BI suite that is actually the evolution of Spago BI, a BI suite that has been developed and is on the open source market for 15 years almost. And of course, Knowage inherits from Spago BI all the architecture and the base code. So it is really an evolution, adding, of course, many features that follows the main direction of evolution and growth of the BI scenario, especially dealing with the advent of big data. And big data does not mean only the possibility to access new sources of data, such as the Hadoop context and or the NoSQL databases, but also to profit of all these data that we have at our disposal in order to make some more sophisticated advanced analysis using algorithms and other techniques that bring us more power in performing analysis and in supporting taking better decisions. Okay, so that's why from in the last 4 to 5 years the product has evolved in these two directions. Integrating new sources of data and supporting new analytic scenarios. In general, Knowage is focused on building, on supporting the customers, the partners, the integrators, users to build business intelligence applications managing big data, of course, without having to deal with all the complexity of joining data, combining them, and so on. This is, of course, part of the platform, but is more related to a technical user. Then the final user have an interface that allows them to simply collect and put together all these pieces of information coming from different data sources, traditional data sources, big data ones, and so on. And we will see that this is true also in advanced analytical scenarios. The product is divided into 6 modules. Smart Intelligence deals basically with building cockpits. Big data analysis deals especially in with connecting to big data sources. Enterprise reporting deals with building and distributing reports according to the paradigm, the right information at the right moment to the right user, so we can also schedule, send by email, and so on. Location intelligence, which has been the topic of one of my previous presentations, deals especially with the combination of geographical data and business data. Performance management deals with KPIs, calculation, and visualization. And predictive analysis is exactly where we support advanced scenarios such as simulations, for example, predictive maintenance, churn analysis, and many other scenarios that typically are supported by advanced algorithms, machine learning, and artificial intelligence. Among all the capabilities of Knowage that allows to build interactive cockpits with mashup capabilities, that is mixing data coming from different sources, managing KPI, managing all the life cycle of the development of analytical documents in a typical projects and so on, there is a specific component that deals with injecting R and Python code inside the definition of a cockpit. So actually it helps in combining traditional analysis with advanced analytics. And this will be part of a specific presentation that will come in the framework of this presentation just in a few minutes. Of course, the platform is used at an enterprise level, so it deals also with the security profiling. It allows actually to use all these features in a very controlled and consistent way, in such a way to have people accessing the information that they have the rights to access. And all is managed transparently by the platform without having the user focus and concentrate on how to perform security and profiling and so on. This is also all done in a transparent way by the platform. Okay, let's start with the first scenario of advanced analytics, which is the simulation scenario. In Knowage, we have the possibility to manage, for example, OLAP analysis. This has been made available since the beginning of the project. So even in the very first version of Spago BI, there was already the possibility to manipulate data, to navigate into hierarchies of data using OLAP functions, so using drill down and so on. And in Knowage, we have added the possibility to build also simulation scenarios, that is, to use the OLAP hierarchical approach in order to simulate some scenarios. So, for example, imagine that you have to build a budget of your company. The company is organized hierarchically in different divisions, and if you make a goal for a budget for a certain division, of course this goal has to be propagated to all the descendants and the ancestors towards throughout the hierarchy. Okay, this is what can be done with the what if simulation. I will show you just a video on this. As you can see here, we are in this moment just drilling in our hierarchy of products. We are simulating a food company, so we are measuring sales and cost according to the hierarchy of our products made of department, brands, product, and so on. We can select the specific indicator, the specific measure that we want to focus on. We can, of course, drag the different dimensions to analyze. So here, for example, we are analyzing the geographical dimensions, that is how to the sales perform in the different countries. And here, as you can see, we have put a simulation. We want to make plus 10% in the USA, okay? And this has changed all the values in the chain of our hierarchy. Or we can impose a fixed value, like, for example, in this case, in Canada, we want to perform exactly $500. Okay, and also this is, of course, propagated throughout the hierarchy. We can save in any moment this simulation and provide the simulation with a name. So maybe this is a version that we save, a specific version of our simulation, and we call it, for example, store sales. Now, saving this version is important because we can use the version as an attribute to compare the different simulations. So, for example, here, as you can see, the version that we have created are compared, and I can select and focus on some particular versions to compare. So, in this case, for example, we want to compare V0 with V4, V5, and store sale, which is the last one that we have just saved, in order to see which is the difference between the various simulations that we have done, and maybe at a certain moment choose one of these in particular and perform some operations or some decisions specific for this case. Okay, so this is a scenario. Now I leave the floor and give a speech to Marco Balestri, who is one of our BI consultants that deals specifically with advanced analytics, and he will introduce you to other important features regarding the integration of advanced analytics in Knowage. So let me now give. Okay. Okay. So now, Marco, I think you are the host, so you can take the control.
Thank you, Stefano.
You're welcome.
I hope that every one of you can see my screen.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we can start. As Stefano just said, I am Marco Balestri, and I am dealing with embedding Python inside Knowage. And I would like to show you something about what we just did with Python inside Knowage, and give a demonstration of the new features inside the software. So basically, first of all, the Python engine is an optional plugin that comes with the 7.2 version of Knowage. So it's something that you can either decide to have it or not based on your specific needs. But what does this engine allow us to do in practice? Well, it gives us the possibility to unlock two different components, which are the Python dataset and the Python widget. For the record, just be aware of the fact that the same functionalities available through Python will be also available through R scripts as well. So for convenience, I'll be talking about Python, but keep in mind that the same things stand for R as well. So let's start first from the Python dataset, and let's give you a quick demonstration of what you can do in practice with this new component. So as you can see here in my screen, the basic idea of this component is that you can embed and write yourself the Python code that you need to produce some output. The output type can be either data or a visualization. So inside the dataset section, you will use programming languages such as Python or R to produce data as output. So here I have written some very simple Python code that allows me to retrieve some data. And when I execute this data, I can give it as input parameters. I will see the output, and this output is directly produced by the Python engines that runs behind. So the output produced by the script is dependent on what I write in the code. So whenever I change my code, the output will change as well. So what can I do with this code? Almost whatever I want. I'm free to do whichever kind of operation I want. I can compute computation on data. I can use Python libraries. I can, for instance, connect to databases or to GitHub repositories and so on in order to retrieve my data. Moreover, this data set is embedded in the Knowage environment, which means that it follows the basic rules of Knowage. So it is sensible, for instance, to parameter. So as you've seen previously, I can give it some inputs, and based on the inputs that I give to the data set, data in output will change. So previously I've executed the data set with dog as input, but I can execute it with tiger as input, and the output will change accordingly. So this time, instead of having a dog, we will have a tiger. So the output depends on two factors, which are the code that I've written here and the status of the Knowage environment that stays behind. And the second component is indeed the Python widget, which allows a user, instead of retrieving data, of producing visualization in output. So you can start from very, very basic visualization, such as this one, which is a very, very simple and basic bar chart. I will show you the code that produced this output. So as you can see here, this output is produced directly from the script that is embedded inside the cockpit. And you can go from this basic output to something more complex, like for instance, in the case that I was showing you earlier. In this case, you have a cockpit which is composed by several different components, traditional knowledge components, let me say, such as a table widget, a selector widget, and here on the bottom left, embedded inside the cockpit, there is the Python widget. So what does this widget do? Well, like any other Python component, it starts from the Python code that we embed inside it. So as you can see in this case, we start from this Python script, which is also a pretty complex one. So it makes some computation, some calculation, and at the end, it produces an output, which is the visualization that is shown here. And this visualization is also interactive thanks to the computing power of Python. So I can perform some changes on this output. I can, for instance, perform moves or zoom the visualization. I can change the value of combo boxes. And as you can see, the output will change accordingly. And all of these interactions are managed by the Python script that runs behind. So the developer is free to write whatever he wants and manage both the output and the interaction as much as he wants. So he can do, basically, is free to do whatever he wants. So this gives the possibility to exploit the power, the computing and visual power of Python, and also to exploit the wide range of libraries that this language makes available. So the developer can use libraries and whatever he wants to create visualization and all kinds of changing that he wants. But moreover, the real power of Python, not used as a standalone technology, but embedded inside a Knowage, is that this power of the Python language can be used together with the, let me say, analytical power of Knowage. What does this mean? Well, it means that if I start from this visualization here, I can also embed it inside a much bigger cockpit. So as I was saying before, here I have some other components that work together with the Python one. So whenever I change something inside my visualization, inside my cockpit, all the components, Python widget included, will refresh accordingly. So what happens if at some point I only want to see data coming from Peugeot cars? So I pick Peugeot, and as you can see, all the components in the cockpit refresh accordingly. And now they all show data coming from Peugeot cars. So not only the table is showing only Peugeot cars, but also the Python visualization. And this happened while I did not change anything of the code. So the code behind is still the same. The code didn't change, but the visualization did change. And this is the real power of Python embedded inside Knowage. You can exploit both the powers of the Knowage and heterogeneous environment and the analytical and development power of modern languages such as Python or R. So this is basically it. Of course, for every additional question or doubt that you might have, don't hesitate to contact us, and of course I'll be very happy to help you. So thank you, Stefano. I will give you back the control. Okay. So Stefano, you should be host again.
Perfect.
Thank
you. Perfect. Thank you very much, Marco. So as you have seen, really there is a high customization possibility and high power using this kind of integration, because it really opens the door to many scenarios. Okay, let me just okay. I hope you see again the screen. Okay, and of course, in the same way as we have presented the two scenarios of simulation and the second one, the integration of the Python of Python scripts and the possibility to use the Python widget, which opens the door, as I was saying, to many scenarios. We have also developed different projects where we have integrated in using this in the same way also other business scenarios. For example, we have a predictive maintenance system that deals with the provision of faults and interventions to maintain the technical apparatus for a big car manufacturer, and also another very interesting scenario that have been illustrated also by Noemi this morning in the presentation, in the general overview of Knowage, where we deal with the energy consumption inside homes. We have studied together with colleagues that works specifically in this domain, the possibility to split the energy consumptions according to the actual consumptions of any single electrical device inside a home, which is not typically the case when dealing with energy provided that have just one value, that is the consumption of the overall home or apartment. And thanks to this possibility and to a series of algorithms that are able to predict the consumptions, we have built some interesting dashboard and cockpits that support the efficiency of electrical consumptions inside homes. And there are also many other examples, and it's very important these capabilities to have to standardize from one side the access to the information, and to the other side the way that we can use similar widget in a consistent manner, even if this widget really performs different capabilities, okay? Such as, for example, table widgets, charting widgets, but as we have seen also location intelligence widget that deal with geography, and Python or R widget that deal with Python scripts, R scripts for making advanced analytics scenarios. Okay, now I come back to the presentation to tell you about what is coming next. Okay, so today we have almost finished our agenda of presentation, but of course for anyone who visit the booth C29 in Paris with our partner Synaptic and is interested to know more or to have some other specific demo or presentation, don't hesitate to contact us through all the virtual channels that we have available. Tomorrow there will be another set of scheduled presentation. We will start at 10 with a presentation by Synaptic, and then we will alternate between Synaptic and Knowage, and there will be again very interesting scenarios regarding big data visualization, location intelligence, advanced analytics, just as we have done today, and some interesting products and use cases presented by Synaltic regarding the usage of products such as Debezium or Dream.io that are very complementary to Knowage, so it could be very interesting to discuss and show how to manage the combination of these solutions in order to answer the requirements from customers and from BI and big data projects. Okay, so that's all for this presentation. Of course, if there are any questions, don't hesitate. We can stay here and take some questions. Otherwise, as I have already said in other presentation, you can contact us using all our channels, and we can, of course, discuss and provide you with more information, answers to doubts, and so on.